Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, bringing you today's episode. The one laying down right over here, the fuzzy one, is Freya, my co-star. Yes, I said your name, Fuzzy. And like I said, bringing you today's videos. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're a small family channel, just doing this for fun. This is what we love to do. We love to talk about books. We want to bring you guys books, so please support us. We would appreciate that so much. We do talk about a variety of genres, even though we've been kind of locked into a genre lately, but we're going to talk about pretty much every single genre out there that we read. We read a lot. In fact, we read far more than we film. We just run out of time actually to film. So for today, I want to talk about book 2 in a series that I've talked about in the past. That was actually recommended to me by one of you, one of our viewers. Recommended this book to me. I read it, loved it. Book 2 just came out not too long ago. I want to talk about Masseur 2. Now, I'm going to skip the usual 4 categories that I talk about because I've already talked about those in my review of book 1. So instead, the 4 things, I'm just going to talk about the book in general, and then I want to talk about the great, the good, and what I didn't like, and go from there. So, the book itself, we touch back in with Riker Hayes. And he is the earthling that once he died, his spirit was brought to this other world. He was reborn, and this magical world, and he's just trying to build a life for himself. Now, instead of being this mythical hero that he is destined to be, he just became a businessman. He was a masseur in his first life, and he has brought that to this world. And because of his skills, it turns out he has a mastery, so he has magic associated with it. Also, by being reborn in almost like an alternate dimension version of himself, Ivan, he also inherits Ivan's abilities, which he was also he also had a mastery, in this case with the sword. He was a soldier, and a very, very famous, very deadly soldier. So Riker, while building up his hotel and massage parlor in neutral territory, he's also trying to hide a little bit because he technically he'd be considered a deserter because his body was a soldier, and that's where most of the plot of this book takes place. Again, this is a slice of life. Now, it does pick up right back from book 1, where the cat had shown up, which was his other girlfriend, which would now be his 3rd girlfriend, and trying to get to her and help her recover out of the cat form. And there's some flashbacks that explain why she's locked into this cat form. So that is one of the little threads that runs through the book. Another one, again, is one of his girlfriends, the orc girlfriend, and the fact that she's a princess of her tribe, and her aunt is ruling it, but her aunt needs to kill her in order to officially rule it, but tries to pretend like she is, like the princess needs to be kidnapped and brought back for her own protection and safety and to take over her clan. So this also pops up as a thread throughout the book. Theoretically, it does get resolved, but there's definitely some hints saying that it might not be as resolved as it looked. But that one also, this is also, again, an interesting thread that pops up. There's a little bit of combat in this book, which is always fascinating because, again, when Riker starts leaning on his sword mastery, it gets very, 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 very interesting because he's an extraordinarily deadly individual. Plus, his orc girlfriend has an incredible mastery of her own, and his succubus girlfriend is a wizard and was a combat wizard, fought with an army. So very, very interesting. Now, on top of that, another thread that's running through this book is the appearance of a duchess, a noble woman that is looking for the massage, and then has some other threads that run through the book. She's pretty much present through most of the book, as are almost everyone else I talk about. And then, of course, God, I cannot remember the name, and I can't understand why, but the soldier that figured out who Riker is and made a deal with him in book 1 also shows back up. Turns out he has his own girlfriend and little tryst going on that is not necessarily accepted within society, within this world. So that also throws another little twist in there, and another little thread running through it. And I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm trying not to talk too much about how these are resolved. As far as the great goes, what I thought was really great about this book, the characters, and some characters in particular. I really like Riker and the fact that Ivan almost pops up as a second personality, and the integration between the two and how they're going to work together. And I like to see when Riker uses Ivan's abilities. also are huge, and like, I don't understand why I'm blanking on their names. I don't want to stop on the book, but his girlfriend, absolutely love this character. Very, very fleshed out, very intelligent, and very realistic character. To me, as I read this, I feel like I've actually met people that are like this. I'm also a huge fan of just the plot. They're opening up. He's opening up so many little things that he's showing as not what's going to happen, but the potential that's there. It almost feels like book 2 is almost an extension of book 1. That really books 1 or 2 just almost feel like a prologue. Like you feel all this building up. And that's not to say this is a boring book, because it is not. Just like book 1, it's a slice of life, which I find very, very fascinating. Definitely has conflict, has battles, has personal conflicts, conflicts between characters. Definitely a huge improvement over book 1, which was a fantastic book. I mean, I talked about it. It was a great book. I really liked it. Couldn't wait for book 2 to come out. Book 2 came out. I read it the day it came out. But this feels so much better. The characters are more fleshed out. The world is getting more interesting. There's more hints of things to come, and just overall, just absolutely fascinating. The good would be most of the characters and how the plot is being laid out. The power level that Riker probably has with his various masteries is interesting, because again, he's just a human. So he finds himself in some pretty rough situations that he has to get bailed out of, mostly because he didn't think, not because he didn't have the ability to deal with it. But again, very, very realistic. You read a lot of books where you read it and you see the main character doing something dumb, and you're just like, come on, really? And it sort of takes you out of the book. Not in this case. Riker feels like a very, very, very well fleshed out character. A lot of what he's doing, you can really see yourself, if you're in a similar situation, doing. And same with his girlfriend, same with his soldier, almost friend, kind of turns into a friend by the end of it. You could really see they make decisions that further the plot, but they're not plot holes. They definitely seem like decisions that make sense. As far as what I didn't like about the book, it really kind of leans back into the same thing as book 1. His succubus girlfriend. His succubus girlfriend supposedly traveled with an army. Supposedly she was almost like a hunter in a way. She was like a battle mage. And yet she has the impulse control of a 3-year-old that suffered a TBI and is drunk. I mean, it's mind-boggling how any creature can make it to adulthood, much less years into their adulthood, and still not have any impulse control, not be able to conform and blend in with society, not have at least an understanding, even if they don't necessarily feel, at least have an understanding of societal norms, what to do, what not to do. Even if it's not an instinctive thing, you tend to learn, like, I should not do this because it's just not normal. How you go through decades of life and don't get this is mind-boggling. So that every scene with her, I actually skip ahead. I usually make it about page and a half in, and then I start skipping ahead, because it's literally throwing me out of the book, because it's just so impossible. Like, you look at a person like this and you think, like, this person would not make it into adulthood, or if they did, they would be, they'd be either committed into a mental institution or again, just passed away, because it's almost impossible. You just don't see how they can make it into adulthood. Now, there is another character that's very similar. That Duchess definitely has some, not impulse controls, but some immaturities in there. Only in her case, they're explained, which I really, really like. They're explained by her bodyguard / hired soldier, as explained within the fact that nobility are kind of shielded and sheltered, and they don't get to learn these interactions that the rest of us learn. It's kind of like, within our world, the mega rich, the uber rich. Oftentimes their children to us seem very odd, because they just don't understand why we do the things we do, or why we can't do the things we can't do. And that's mostly just an upbringing thing, and that's within this Duchess. But that succubus character, man, absolutely despise her, because again, it throws me out of the book every single time. Not to say that's a bad book, because not at all. I absolutely love this book, and just as much, actually more than I love book 1, and I'm very much looking forward to book 3, and I hope it comes out very, 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 very soon. So after you hit those like and subscribe buttons, guys, go check out Masseur 2. Really good book. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time. Bye now.